Welcome everybody to another YouTube Hangout. Really excited to be here with a new friend of mine, Frode. He runs a YouTube channel called Actualize, where he basically helps people actualize themselves, pulls a lot of knowledge from self-help books to help people become the best version of themselves. He did a review of Your One Word not too long ago that was awesome to see, and he wants to interview me for his podcast series. So Frode, welcome aboard, man.
Thank you very much. Hi, this is Frode, and welcome to the Actualize podcast. Today I'm thrilled to be chatting with Evan Carmichael, and at age 19, he built and sold his own biotech software company. At age 22, he helped raise $500,000 to $15 million as a venture capitalist. And now he's a global speaker, and he has almost 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. And today we'll be talking about his book, Your One Word, and Evan's one word is believe. Evan, thank you very much for being on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with us.
I'm excited. Let's do it, man.
Perfect. So let's just jump right into the questions. I was incredibly fascinated by the story you had about what happened when you found your own word, believe. So could you share that with us?
Sure. I felt like I could be doing more in my life. I just felt like I hadn't reached my ceiling. I had some success. I wasn't down on my life. It wasn't me being in the hole. Just I felt like I could be doing more. And so I thought it was a marketing tagline thing. I thought it was just I need a little more definition of my business. And when I started going through the exercise of figuring out what do I stand for, what do I want my company to be all about, I realized it was much more than just a business exercise. It was a personal exercise. And when I was trying to figure out what my company stood for, I had to first figure out what I stood for. And then from there, I discovered it was about believe, and I'll go through a whole process that is outlined in the book. But I found it was about believe. And when I had that, once you figure out your one word, it becomes a mirror of truth. You can look at it and see what areas of your life, and for the entrepreneurs, your business, are out of alignment. You know, do the people around you help support you and your one word and your core value? Are you doing things on purpose to live that happier life and actualize yourself or not? And so in order to understand what that best life looks like for you, you have to first understand what it is that you stand for. When you don't know what your values are, when you don't know what the most important thing in your life is, then you're constantly just going to be pulled into directions by other people. You're going to live other people's lives instead of your own. And so that's the first step in figuring out that ideal life, is understanding what your one word core value is.
All right. Yeah, that's amazing. And what you said about the core values, that was really a transformational experience for me, because I really wasn't so certain about them. But when I found them my own, it became a lot easier to kind of center myself on them and do, like you said, be on my own path without flitting about. Like it's so simple to do.
I like. And what did you come up with? What was your one word?
It was actualize.
Right. Okay. I like it.
And yeah. So did you touch upon the Gnosis was saying I really liked, but know thyself, I think it meant. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's an ancient Greek proverb, which means to pay no attention to the opinions of the masses. Basically, don't pay attention to what other people think of you. Everybody is going to have an opinion of you and what you should do with your life. Right? Everybody will have an opinion. You ask your friends, you ask your family, you ask your coworkers, you ask, people at your school. Everybody's going to have an opinion of what you should do. And too often we listen to other people's opinions instead of listening to what we feel we should do. And that's the point. That's the point of understanding what your one word is. It gives you the guidance to figure out what you should do. And it's okay to, to take opinions and just and have it be kind of a thought for you, but not to be bound by it. Like, I love getting feedback from other people. I love being able to bounce ideas off of them and say, hey, what do you think about this? But just because somebody doesn't like my idea, for a lot of people, that's when they quit. Like, oh, he didn't like my idea, so I'm not going to do it. Or what do you think I should do? Okay, I'm going to go down that path. And that's not the path for you. And if you don't understand what it is that you're all about, then you're always going to be living somebody else's path and still your own, instead of your own, sorry. And so, you know, if you're about Actualize, then what does that mean? If you break that down, if you do the credo exercise, figure out the 3 things that Actualize means, then you can start to pick the opportunities that you want to do. You can pick the people that you want to be around. You pick the YouTube channels that you listen to, that you consume. And so, you know, whatever great moments you've had up to this point in your life, now you can plan for those. Now you can seek them out with more certainty. Now you know how to build a better business and a better life for yourself, so that you're constantly surrounded with Actualize, and you have people around you who are pushing you to live more an actualized lifestyle. And so too many people only listen to other people. And the advice I give in the book is spend less time talking to other people and spend more time talking to yourself. Spend more time, book a day off, and just sit in a coffee shop or go to a forest or wherever you do your best thinking, and spend more time with yourself, because you shouldn't let other people's opinions of you influence what it is that you end up doing.
Yeah, I really love that idea. And I also cherish spending more time with myself than always so distracted with all these other things. So I really like the exercise you made us do with the 5 core questions, because that was really the way of finding your one word, right? And
yeah, so yeah.
I was wondering if you could walk us through those questions.
Sure, we can do like a high level, because at some point this could go on, walking somebody through all of them. But if you look at a high level, first we start with thinking about what has made you come alive. Think about your happiest moments. Think about the best times in your life and write them down. And don't even worry about how this makes sense to your business yet, or to, you know, your core value yet. Just fill the page with happiness. Write down all the things that make you come alive. And the book gives you some guidance on some things to think about, like what did you love about your parents, and who your favorite teachers, and what's your favorite song, and, you know, gives you primers to think about. Just write down a bunch of things that make you happy, your best moments in your life, and then think about why it made you happy. So like that big high that you had winning that award, or whatever it is that you felt on top of the world, why did it make you so happy? And just try to write down 1 or 2 words as to why it made you happy. What you'll figure out is there's going to be a theme that runs consistent. So, you know, anytime for you felt actualized, you feel happy. It's like a really good moment in your past. But at the start, you're just writing down the list. Then you want to start looking at, okay, what is that connective tissue? What is the thing that binds these things together? What is the common theme that's coming up? Then we can start looking at, if you can't find it through that positive side, you can go negative. You can think, what are the things that I hate being around, the people I hate being around, the situations I hate being in, and not that they're bad people or bad situations, just not right for you. And so sometimes people have an easier job going negative than going positive. And that can be really helpful, because when you figure out what you hate the most, that's your anti-word. The opposite will be what you stand for, and it'll be your one word. And then also understanding that this is a forever thing. It's not a, this year I'm going to actualize. It's forever. I'm still going to care about Actualize in 10 years or 20 years or 40 years. Like, it's a forever. If anything, I'll just care more about it in the future. It's a forever thing. And so sometimes people's judgment can be clouded by the current situation that they're in right now. They had something negative going on right now, and they can't kind of get out of it. What can help is to add more perspective and think, am I still going to care about this thing in 10 years, in 20 years, in the future? It's a constant. It's not just a New Year's resolution. So those are some of the quick steps you can look at to help you find your one word. And hopefully that really helps. And when you figure that out, then you start to look at your life and say, okay, what's out of balance? What may need to be tweaked? Where am I getting the support that I need to help me build this life? And where am I falling short? Because those moments in the past that made you really happy and come alive, a lot of that may have been random occurrences, where now, you know, those 20 moments that made you great in the past, I want that to be planned. I want that to happen constantly now in your future. I want you to plan for it and create it and bring it to yourself and attract it, as opposed to it just randomly happening.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And yeah, there was a story I really liked about how Steve Jobs made an impact, like the real reason behind it. And you mentioned that he wasn't just about the money, but could you share that story with us in your own words?
Yeah, so Steve Jobs was a millionaire in his early 20s and multimillionaire by his mid 20s, and basically had all the money that he would ever need for the rest of his life by the time he was in his mid 20s. And what do people like? What would you do if you had tens of millions of dollars in your mid 20s? A lot of people would just relax and go on vacation and travel the world and just take it easy. Where for him, it was never about the money. He wanted to have an impact, and he worked until he died on trying to do big projects, right? And being fired from Apple and coming back to Apple and working until he died on Apple, trying to make it amazing. And his goal was never about trying to make a ton of money. And now money is important. You know, we're in business, money is important, but there has to be something more important than money. So money's number two. And the funny thing is, you'll see this happen over and over and over again. If you look at the people who've had the most success, you look at the most successful entrepreneurs, people who have the most money, that wasn't inherited. They didn't get it from their parents. They built it themselves. It was always about the building of the company, building of the product, doing something important, much more than it was about money. You don't see the most successful entrepreneurs going out and saying, all I care about is the money, because those people never actually make a lot of money. And so Jobs, funnily enough, you know, Apple became the most wealthy company in the world. It became the #1 company from market cap in the world. It's the most valuable company in the world, even though Steve Jobs' #1 goal was never about the money. And so when you're doing something important, when you believe in your cause, you're going to put so much love and effort into it that provides value to your customers, and they'll pay you money for it. You deserve to get paid, but the people who are in it just for the money rarely end up making any.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, because it's really easy to lose motivation if you're just in it for the money, right?
100%. Like, being an entrepreneur is one of the hardest things you're ever going to do in your life. And if you look at a YouTuber and say, oh, that looks so easy, I'm going to start my own YouTube channel and it's going to be amazing, and in 3 days I'm going to be a millionaire or whatever, like, you think it's way easier than it is, then as soon as you get started and you suffer and you're struggling and you're not getting any results, and 5 people see your video and nobody leaves a comment, and you get 1 subscriber, you know, you realize how hard it's going to be to do this thing. And most people will quit because all they wanted to be was YouTube famous, and they didn't actually care about making good videos. And so you have to enjoy the process. It's not just about getting a result. You have to enjoy the work of doing the work. Like, if you didn't enjoy reading books and learning how to actualize and spreading that message, your channel would never go anywhere. This podcast would never go anywhere. Like, you'll do a couple and then it'll fall off. But if you deeply care about it, which I know you do, then you'll keep putting in the work, and you'll keep getting better, and you'll keep learning, you'll keep improving. And the only way you do that is if you actually love the process and the work of getting better, because it's not sane. You know, it's like, it's crazy to do this. It's safer, easier, more practical to go do something else than to try to do this. And so the only thing that gets you through is that mad love for what you're doing.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, and I'm just a quick side note there. I can tell you that I'm really in the startup phase of the YouTube channel now. I've been doing it for about 6 months, and it's true what you said. Like, the first videos were just a few views and 1 new subscriber, but after 3 months or so, it started picking up. And yeah, when I switched channel, of course, it became slow again. But as you say, I'm in it for the long run. So also, the credo seemed like a central facet around creating your campaign. Could you tell us a bit about it and how we can use it to show what we stand for?
Yeah, so what the credo does is it adds more definition. And so what I recommend people do is they figure out their 1 word and then the 3 things under it. And the 3 things make up your credo. So for me, believe is about self-confidence. That's what most people would think. Believe in yourself, and that's definitely what it is. But it's also believe in what you're doing, which is passion, and believe that it's going to work out, which is conviction. So for me, believe breaks down into self-confidence, passion, and conviction. And that becomes my guiding lens. You know, that turns just the word believe into hashtag believe for me. I make my decisions by looking at that. Like, where am I falling short in my life or my business? Well, I have to go back to look at that. Am I being self-confident? Am I passionate about what I'm doing? Am I following through and having conviction? Do I believe enough? And so what it does is it gives you more clarity personally. So if you're looking at Actualize, what does that break down into? There may be one common definition of what it means, but there'll be two other branches that may not make as much sense that you wouldn't think of. But when you give it the context, like, oh, okay, I see how that works. And so one, it helps you make better decisions. And two, it helps people spread your message. It helps people talk about you. Most businesses are boring. You know, most YouTube channels are boring. You need to have an easy way for people to spread the message for you. And it's not that people don't like your product or service. You could have a good product or service, but is it enough for them to want to spread it for you because you want to give them the tools to do it? If it's hard for them to explain what you do, then it's going to be hard for them to tell people what you do. Even if they love your channel, it's going to be hard for them to spread the message for you. Where if you give them the tools to make it easy to spread the message, then they will. Yes, you still need to have good content. Yes, you still need to be consistent. Yes, you need to have good guests on and do good reviews or whatever it is that you're doing on your channel. But you want to make it easy for people to spread your message. As entrepreneurs, word of mouth is one of the greatest tools we have. We don't have the budget to take out, you know, $1 million advertising campaign. And so we need to make it easy for our customers to talk about us. So give them the tools to do it. So breaking down your one word into the three parts, which becomes your credo, one, makes it easy for you to be able to make decisions because you've added more clarity on what your one word means. And two, makes it easy for people to talk about you and spread your message for you because you've given them the tools to do it.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's, that makes a lot of sense. And I was also wondering, away from letting it, using the credo to help people really realize what you're doing, is there any like daily practice you do for staying centered on your one word, like you read the credo or you do something else?
Yeah, I think at the start, it can be helpful, especially if you feel like you're out of alignment. If you feel like this is the life that I really want to live, but I'm actually playing over here. You know, like I want to be actualized, and that means I have to do these three things, but I'm not yet because of my old habits or my environment or, you know, the people around me or whatever it is. And so looking at them daily can be a helpful exercise to follow through. It's actually the subject of my next book that I'm working on right now. Is once you've discovered, like, the one word gives you the self-awareness and then gives you the tactics on what to do to build a business around it. The difficult part as a next step is figuring out, okay, how do I stay motivated to do it? How do I take the right actions so that every day is a consistent thing? So it's not just like one day I'm really pumped and excited, and then the rest of the week I fall down and I don't follow through. So thinking about your morning routine, thinking about your habits, thinking about the people that you hang around with. And I give different, or I'm working on it, it's not out yet, but giving different suggestions for what you can do so that you stay on track. But the morning routine is really important. It's easy to listen to an interview or read a book or have this moment on a Tuesday afternoon and get all excited, and then you wake up Wednesday morning and the feeling is gone and you're starting over again from scratch. And so understanding what are the things that make you all excited, that help you be actualized, that help you be that best version of yourself, and then planning for it daily. So you put that into your morning routine. It's why I started the Espresso video series. I wanted people to start with a shot of espresso to get some motivation and some wisdom to kickstart their day. What does that look like for you? And what does it look like for the people listening? What can you put into your morning routine, whether it's watching a video or listening to a podcast or reading a section from a book, whatever it is. For me, it used to be reading a section from a book. There was a book called Radicals and Visionaries. It's out of print now. And I would read it every morning, 3 to 4 pages, was a different story. And I would get motivated by reading about these different entrepreneurs and also learn from them different strategies on what I could do. And in a sense, that's what I now have taken and brought to my YouTube channel, where every day there's new stories to learn from. And I don't expect people to watch every video on the channel, but if the videos get you inspired and get you thinking bigger and get you more motivated, then put that into your morning routine so that you have that every day. And so I'd be thinking, when you have your one word, actualize, what makes you feel actualized? What makes you feel the most actualized ever? And then plan for that and put it at the start of every day so that you set yourself up for an amazing day.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And I just really love the way you made a ritual out of it. Like you talked about, when you knew what worked for you. I think you wrote in a book about you have found out that if the day starts strong, then the rest of the day goes like a breeze. And you implemented that as a ritual. I think you said hashtag believe team and believe, or believers staying. I can't remember, but it was something like you said, and I keep added up the days on YouTube. And I was really going to make one of those rituals, and I really have to get to it. I'm going to do it as fast as possible.
Yeah, really, so I think the hashtag you're talking about is hashtag BTA, which is believer taking action. And what we recommend people to do is, listen, the videos are helping you. If my videos help inspire you, and if you watch a video and then the rest of your day goes great, and if you don't watch a video and you kind of fall off track, then watch a video every day and do a hashtag BTA and then the number. So like the day number. So if I started today, it'd be BTA1, tomorrow it'd be hashtag BTA2. If you miss a day, then you have to start back over at hashtag BTA1 again. And what's really important in creating these behaviors is having something that can be the spark. So typically what you find is in a morning routine, there's something that you start with, whether it's a video, whether it's brushing your teeth, whether it's drinking a glass of lemon water, whether it's making your bed, whatever it is. Put the easiest thing first. So if watching a video is entertaining and inspiring for you, put that first. Whatever the next hardest thing is, like leave that till later. Because once you start building momentum, you're more likely to follow through. Where if you skip that thing, like if you have a plan that I wanna eat healthy and I wanna go for a run, I wanna make a YouTube video and I wanna do these 10 things. If the first thing is go for a run in the morning, if you start a day and you don't go for a run because it's raining outside or you're tired or whatever, chances are you're going to fall off on everything else. You're not going to eat healthy. You're going to eat chocolate bars. You may not do that YouTube video, and the whole day falls apart. So what you start with is really important, and you want to make it really easy for you, because once you start with that, then if it's making the bed, it's not just about making the bed. It's about you are the kind of person who makes the bed and follows through. And then you're going to follow through on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so watching a video is super easy. And so the goal was, if the videos are inspiring to you and they help you, then start your day with it. Put in hashtag BTA123. Keep that number going up. And the idea was that could be that linchpin, that kind of lightning rod that start with this. And if you do this daily, then you'll do all the other things that you said you were going to do as well to help you live the most inspired life.
Yeah, that's just awesome. And I also find it to be so true that if you don't do the first one, for me it's make my bed, then kind of everything can spiral apart, like you said, throughout the day. So away from that, there were two last things I was really curious about. There was so that's might be what do you do every single day to stay plugged in? And that might just be one of them, or is it something else that you do also? Your number one habit?
Number one habit. I think my number one habit is just making sure that I start my morning. I have a pretty consistent morning routine. That if I started off with this, then I'm good for the day. And if I don't, then I feel it's harder to get back on. One of my challenges in running my life is when things don't go according to my schedule, then I can fall off pretty quickly. Like if I get really distracted or get interrupted. And so I really try to build my life around not being distracted or interrupted, and as much as possible, keeping things on certain days. Sometimes it's not possible. You're going to have days when just something happens and it blows up, but I try to minimize that as much as possible. So for me, making sure that I spend the time in the morning to look at my goals, to listen to a song. Like music can instantly change your state and get you more motivated, to watch a video or something where I'm learning and feeding my brain. It's the most consistent thing that I do daily. Everything else I have a more weekly schedule for, but I find if I start my morning off properly, then I set myself up for a great day.
Yeah, that's a great tale. And before we direct our listeners over to how they can connect with you, I was also wondering if you would have to pick the #1 advice for our listeners. What would that #1 advice or tip be? And it can be something we are talking about in this interview, or it can be something completely different.
I think just the context of what we're talking about, I think the self-awareness is really important. I think understanding what you stand for is really important. It opened up my eyes. I've seen people make massive transformations in their life and in their business once they really understood it. Because until you really decide that you're going to live your version of your life, then you're constantly going to be pulled in other directions. And you're going to feel upset. You're going to feel frustrated. You're going to feel like you're doing this for somebody else. And we complain about doing things for somebody else, but we don't actually know what we want to do for ourselves. And that's the problem. Until you understand yourself, then you don't know what to fight for. And so that self-awareness, through me, it's by finding your one word. It's one tool you can use with others. But having that self-awareness can make a massive difference in setting you up for a successful life.
Yeah, that's just so inspiring. And I also find that really true. So is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to talk about now?
I think it's pretty good. I think if we're talking about entrepreneurs, then the thing that I would add, the most successful, lesson that keeps coming back over and over and over again from people who've made it as big time entrepreneurs, is you also need to follow your passion and do the thing that makes you excited. And so I think when you can combine your values with a passion. So for me, I believe in entrepreneurs. So it's believing in entrepreneurship. If I wasn't believing in entrepreneurs, I'd be believing in something else. I like believing in people. I'm frustrated by untapped potential. I hate seeing somebody and I see this big vision for themselves and they're holding themselves back. It's massively frustrating for me. And so I have the most passion and knowledge around entrepreneurship versus other things. But if it wasn't entrepreneurship, it'd be something else. And so being able to find your passion and to be able to explore different things until you find the thing that makes you come alive, you combine that with what your values are. And that is really the core foundation of setting up a successful life.
Right on. Yeah, and do you want to tell us how our audience can best connect with you?
Sure. I'm on most of the social channels where people are. I spend most of my time on YouTube, followed by Twitter, but we're also on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. For the book, it's wherever you buy books, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, wherever you're picking up books, the book is there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from people.
Yeah, great. So to wrap up this podcast, I highly recommend your one word to those of you who are listening. And if you haven't read it, get a copy and feel inspired. Evan, thank you so much, and I'm very excited to be connected.
Thanks for the love, man. Good luck with the show.
Thank you very much.